In this video, I'm going to walk you through some core best practices with LinkedIn ads that I recommend that you implement that has worked for me and my clients. So just for context, if you're new to the channel, I'm the founder of Ad Conversion. 5,000 plus B2B marketers take our courses on LinkedIn, Google, and other topics. In addition to that, I also run an ad agency that manages $3 million a month in ad spend for B2B SaaS brands. And LinkedIn is absolutely one of the biggest channels we invest in the B2B space. So in this video, I want to walk you through some best practices, how to think about LinkedIn ads, what not to do, what to do. So ultimately you can come out on the other side, creating positive associations, building brand affinity and trust, and driving more direct response. So let's start off with the basics, and I've got a slide deck here I want to walk you through. So this is what LinkedIn ads retargeting looks like for most people, unfortunately. So your prospect, your target audience here is Captain Jack Sparrow, and you've got all these different platforms. You're basically just chasing them across LinkedIn, YouTube, Google, Meta. This really, the problem isn't just LinkedIn. It really is exponential across platforms. But basically, you're just following the same person again and again, and you're just asking them to buy your stuff. And this is 100% what we don't want to do, and is the opposite of a best practice. This is a worst practice. So with that being said, you're going to damage your brand, you're going to lose goodwill, and ultimately you're just going to piss some people off. So you want to avoid just sending out the same offer again and again, not refreshing your ads. It's like the opposite of what we're going to do. So taking that premise, what we want to make sure we're doing is we want to move people through a journey as best as we can, because ultimately we never know where people are in terms of their buyer's journey. But to the best of our ability, we want to construct an ecosystem, or as I like to think about it, a newsletter that people can consume content, they can get offers, and you can continue to build positive associations and goodwill. So if I've got you hooked and that sounds good to you, this is what it looks like in more detail. So the first thing you're going to do is you want to choose your channels. So for the sake of this video, we are talking about LinkedIn ads, but just know that this can become scaled. You can scale this process across other platforms. And if you really want to maximize your remarketing performance, I recommend that you always have a minimum of 2 to 3 channels that you're actively retargeting on. And the reason why is you want to create omnipresence, meaning you are everywhere. I just saw you on LinkedIn. I go to Instagram, I see you. I'm on X, I see you. And you're creating this experience where in the mind of the prospect, they think you're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. And then the reality is you're spending $100 a day, but you're just going after a very specific group of people. But in their mind, you're huge, you're massive. And basically what you're doing is you're manufacturing celebrity, meaning you're becoming famous to a very explicit group of people. And when you start to add additional channels into your ecosystem, then you really start to scale the omnipresence and the potency of remarketing. But absolutely, you can start with one channel and then expand to 2 to 3 others. So once you've done that, I really just want to emphasize the point of you want to think big fish, small pond. So again, your buyer thinks that you are everywhere. And in reality, you've just got this super tiny audience, spending 20, 30 bucks a day. So moving on, the second thing you want to do is you want to create all of your retargeting segments. I think a common worst practice that I see from clients and just our students in Ad Conversion is they only rely on a single segment and a single time frame, meaning they're just relying on people that visited their website and that's it. And the real value and power of LinkedIn ads is when you can leverage LinkedIn's firmographic targeting options in addition to your first party data, meaning in plain speak, I've got a list of website visitors that I've got from my pixel, but then I can also layer on top of that job functions, seniorities, skills, etc. So now I can filter down this remarketing audience even further. So for context, for everyone listening, when you come here into LinkedIn ads, each one of these options is a segment that you could retarget by. So for context, I could retarget people that visited my company page. I can retarget people that have, been to my website, people that interact with my conversation ads, my document ads, watched videos. All of these are different segments, and you don't want to make the mistake of just relying on one individual segment. You want to group as many segments as you can together so you can create a total larger audience size, and now you have the ability to layer in additional LinkedIn firmographic criteria like job function, like seniority, or company size, or whatever that might be for your individual ideal customer profile that you're going after. So with that being said, this is a good place that if you guys want to take a snapshot of this, it's worth it. But basically you can see I've got all of these different segments here. And what I'm doing, if I have the size of my pixels mature, I'm not just creating all these different segments, but I'm also taking it a step further and I'm segmenting it by time frame. So I've got my 30-day cohort, my 90-day cohort, and my 180-day cohort. So for LinkedIn, that's all website visitors, all company page visitors, all document interactions, all past event attendees, etc., within a 30-day time frame, and then a 90-day time frame, and then a 180-day time frame. It does take upfront work to create all these segments, but what this is going to allow you to do is now you can create an experience to the best of your ability and show different types of content against the recency of the time frame that they're a part of. And it's really cool too, because from the prospect's perspective, they're not seeing this, but you're like orchestrating this journey for them, which is really cool. So this is the second step, is you want to create all retargeting segments. Don't just rely on one segment. And again, you want to combine those multiple segments together by time frame so that you're scaling that remarketing audience size. And now you have the ability to layer in additional filters to improve your quality. This would not be possible if you only relied on website visitors. So I can't stress this enough. Like, don't make that mistake. Okay, step three is you want to create all exclusions by time frame. Equally important to who you target is who you exclude. To use like a Google Ads analogy here, positive keywords give you focus, negative keywords, or positive keywords give you visibility, negative keywords give you focus. The same is true with LinkedIn ads. Your targeting audience gives you visibility, your excluded audience gives you focus. So you really want to make sure you're creating exclusions by time frame so you can move users through your cohorts and then showcase those relevant offers with exclusions. So for context, like you want to make sure you're excluding all thank you page visitors, you're excluding all lead gen form submits, all existing customers, all competitors, all partners, poor fit titles or job functions, irrelevant company sizes. All these things are things that you should not be showing in your retargeting audiences, right? Like these are people that are not a good fit, and we want to make sure that they don't get our ads. Just to kind of drill into this a little bit more as well is if you are creating these different cohorts of time, so you've got 30, 90, 180, I also recommend that you exclude all of your, for example, I'll exclude all of your 90-day remarketing segments from your 30-day campaigns, and then all of your 90-day segments from your 180-day campaigns. So that way your 30-day segments are truly just focused on the 30, and you're excluding the other ones to prevent overlap. And then once they actually enter the 90, they're excluded from the 180. So you really focus in on those people based on the recency. And because you're setting up those exclusions, it's really nice too, because now the user is dynamically moving across the different cohorts. And this is all happening once you set this up once. So it does take some upfront work, but it's worth doing. And if you don't have a large enough remarketing audience segment, like I mentioned, like just focus on the 90-day time frame. So if you can't do 30, 90, 180, just focus on 90 and then implement the rest of the stuff that I'm going to talk about. Okay, the next thing is you want to make sure you split your remarketing budget in half in terms of the best practice that I recommend and that I've seen work. So basically what we want to do is we want to avoid creating that negative experience where you're just chasing people around the internet saying, buy my stuff. And one very simple way to do that and like a best practice to implement is just split your remarketing budget in half. So 50% of the time you're going to show valuable content, and then 50% of the time you're going to actually present an offer. And what this will do is it will allow you to give value half the time and then actually like ask for something half the time. So at least half the time you're creating a positive experience. People are learning from you. They're getting, ideally building more brand affinity and trust. And then half the time you're actually asking them to convert. So for your 30 to 90 day audiences, I really recommend that you focus specifically on product marketing and social proof content. So product marketing content, this would be ideally in that 30 to 90 day time frame. And this is content that focuses on promoting the capabilities of your product. A big mistake I see people make with remarketing is they spend so much money promoting educational content, thought leadership content, and people love your content, but they have no idea what you do as a business and the problems you solve and how it helps them. And this is where product marketing content is great, because if somebody just found your brand some way, shape, or form, and now they're in your 30-day cluster, 30 to 90-day cluster, you really want to make sure that they understand the problems you solve as a business, and you're really educating them on your differentiated value. So that's why we really focus on product marketing content first in this first cohort of time. And this is an example of like what an ad would look like from Optio, where they're promoting a specific feature that they have, the Ngram Finder, and then they're also showing like a video demonstration walking through their platform. These are all examples of product marketing content. The next one is social proof content. This is also really good to put in your 30 and 90-day timeframes. Social proof content is content that promotes your product through other people's words and results. So you're borrowing credibility through the experiences of others. This is a really good example from one of our clients, Mixpanel, where we're using a video testimonial, and then we're also using quotes as well. So now what we're doing is not only are we educating people on the problems we solve and the product and the differentiation of our value, but now we're also reinforcing our claims through the experiences and the words of others. Very powerful combination when you put these two things together in the 30 to 90 day time frame. The next thing is for your 90 to 180 day audiences, you're going to now want to start to add in thought leadership content. So now that like we are rock solid, we know that they understand the differentiated value we bring, and they understand that we're great from the experiences of others. Now we want to demonstrate more thought leadership content and show them our authority and expertise in the industry that we operate in. So now this is where thought leadership content can really come in to educate your target audience and really position yourself as the expert. So for context, like one of our clients' Active Campaign, this is an example. So they've got a video clip from a webinar with Rand Fishkin, and then they've got another one from Kyle Poyer, and they're just promoting educational content in feed and trying to create like more positioning for them as experts in their domain. So with the other 50% of your budget, you're going to present offers. So we just covered the content side of the business. Now it's the offer side in terms of remarketing. This could be demo requests, free trials, really anything where you want to take the user to the next step in terms of their purchasing journey. So this will obviously always vary depending on you. So some businesses that's demos, other it's trials, others it's free consultations, etc. But you want to move the person further. So like now with this simple split, you're educating half the time, you're giving content, providing value, and then the other half, you're driving a direct response. So I hope this is super clear, and like these best practices are really like fundamentally sticking in. The last one I want to mention here in terms of a best practice is retargeting based on action and not assumption. One of the biggest mistakes that I see even advanced LinkedIn advertisers making is they create like these insane workflows where they're like, person much watched 25% of this video. Once they watch 25% of this video, then I'm going to show them this ad. Once they see this ad, then they're going to see this ad. And it's like this crazy Rubik's Cube, flow chart. And it's nice in theory, but in practice, in my experience with my clients, it's not actually beneficial. It just causes more effort with not a good return on that effort. So for the fifth and final point here, I really want you to get in the habit of retargeting based on action and not assumption. So now once a user decides to click on one of your offer ads, for example, a demo request, they've expressed a level of interest, right? Like you didn't force them to click on that demo request ad. They chose to. And like kind of tying the analogy of the newsletter, we're showing them half the time content, half the time offers. And we're just in front of them, giving them this experience and showing them this different content, allowing them to decide what they want to interact with. No one put a gun to their head. No one forced them to click on a specific ad. They chose to do that. So now when they choose to click on your offer ads, in the case of a demo, now what we can do is we can create a new campaign, a segmented campaign that is just focusing on retargeting people that have expressed more high intent interest, and we're trying to get them to convert. So I like to think of these campaigns as abandoned cart campaigns or offer bouncer campaigns. So for context, here's an example from Beehive. So people that interact with Beehive, they go to their pricing page or they go to their demo page, they visit these high intent pages. They've created a spin-off campaign where now they're retargeting people that have specifically expressed interest and they're trying to get them to convert. So you can see here in the copy, it says, on the fence about Beehive. You would not be able to address your audience in that way if you didn't know they were checking you out in the first place. So this is now where we can start to retarget based on action and not just assumption. So I hope this was helpful. If you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know in the comments down below. If you want to go deeper on LinkedIn ads, in ad conversion, if you're not familiar, we provide free courses taught by the best practitioners on B2B advertising. And we've got 3 awesome LinkedIn ads courses. So our LinkedIn ads 101 course will give you the fundamentals to get your first campaign launched. Our 102 course will teach you how to optimize them now once they're live. And then our 103 course will teach you how to take it to the next level and scale. And they're all taught by Jan, which is awesome. And he's got a wealth of knowledge and experience on LinkedIn ads. So thanks so much for watching, guys. If you can subscribe to the channel if you're not already, that would be great. And if you want more content on LinkedIn, check out this video we have linked for you here. And I'll see you in the next one.